Boom. Okay. So how can we tell an equation is a quadratic formula? Can anyone tell me?
Is raised to the second power.
When the highest term in an equation is to the second power. So right there, the highest degree is the second power. That's how you tell, that's how you know something is a quadratic formula. Does everybody understand that? Okay, good. So now let me zoom in. Oops. What we also should know is that we must know the standard form of a quadratic equation. So the standard form of a quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. You should now easily be able to see what are the coefficients of the x squared, what's the coefficient of the x, and what's the constant. So a is equal to what?
1.
1. So when you don't see a coefficient in front of the variable, it's a 1. That goes for any variable. If you don't see a number in front of it, it's a 1, because 1 times anything is itself. What's b?
-5.
-5. C is what?
-14.
-14. So when a is equal to 1, this is what I want you to do. Okay. Now, if a is some other number, you're going to use my ebook and you're going to use the quick way to identify A, B, and C and plug it into the calculator. Let it do it for you. Now, if we want to, I can show you the quadratic form, factoring. I can show you solving it, and I can show you the quadratic formula. I'm gonna do all 3 tonight using this one problem. Okay. So if A is 1, we're going to factor C, find the factor pairs of C. So factor just means a number that goes evenly into another number, and pair means 2. So what 2 numbers can I multiply together to get -14? So we got, and I want you to go in order so you get in the habit of doing it so you won't miss a pair. So we start with 1. 1 times what is -14?
14.
What kind of 14?
-14.
-14. So let's go to 2. 2 times what is -14?
-7.
-7. 3 can't go into 14. 4 can't go into 14. 5 can't go into 14. 6 can't go into 14. 7 can go into 14, but we already did 7. So we're done. That's how you know when you're done. You go in order just like that. Now on the other side, we're going to reverse the signs. So instead of 1 and -14, we're going to have what?
-1.
-1 and what?
14.
14. And then the second pair is going, the next pair
-2.
is
-2
and
7.
and 7. Now, these are all the factor pairs of -14. Now, this is the important step. Find the pair that will give you B. So find the pair that will give you -5. So 1 and -14 is what? What's 1 plus negative? What's 1 minus 14?
13. -13.
-13. What's 2 minus 7?
-5.
-5. So we just found our factor pair that will give us B. Now, one thing I did was, why did I start on the left side? Why didn't I start on the right side? Because if I look at my pairs, I notice on my left side, the larger digits are negative. So my answer is always going to be negative. Why? Because the larger number is negative. So on the right side, my answers always will be positive. 14 minus 1 is 13. 7 minus 2 is 5. So I don't even have to look at the right side because I know I'm trying to get a negative. So I'm looking at the side that has the larger negative numbers. So I found my pair that's going to give me -5, 2 and -7. So I'm going to take that 2 and -7, x, m, the variable is m, I'm sorry, m plus 2, and then m minus 7. So I just took this 2 and this -7, and I just put them right here. So m plus 2 times m minus 7. Now this is how you factor a quadratic equation. The reason why you factor is so you can solve it. It's easy once you factor a quadratic equation to find the zeros. You must find the zeros. So what value of m would give you 0? Well, this is easy. What's the opposite of +2?
-2.
-2. What's the opposite of -7?
+7.
+7. So these are your solutions. These would solve your quadratic equation. What that means is if you plug these numbers into this equation, you will get 0. Are you sure, Mr. Tinsley? Because that don't seem right. Well, let me prove it to you. Let's plug in the -2 and the 7. Now, I'm going to use the calculator because the calculator is my friend. I love the calculator. So I'm going to use the calculator. So let me save it and let me erase part of, I'm going to erase the left side. I did take screenshots and it is on video, but let me, because I want to bring that calculator up so we can see it clearly. And I closed my calculator. Oh my goodness. Let me open it back up. This is what happens when you skip a week, you get off. No, but I'm gonna prove it to you, because what I want to show you is if the GED gives you answers, you don't have to factor the quadratic equation. You can plug them in. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, so let me put my calculator on the screen. So my two answers or two solutions to this quadratic equation was -2 and 7. Can anybody tell me how to store -2 on this calculator? I forgot already. How can I store?
Down by the inner sign.
Minus.
Yes.
-2 store X.
-2 store.
-2 store X. Now, Mr. Tinsley, I thought M was -2 and I thought M was +7. You're right. We don't have the variable M on this calculator. But remember, we can use any variable. It doesn't matter. So -2 is X. And watch what I do. I'm just going to plug this expression in. M squared minus 5M minus 14. Watch this. But I'm not using M because I don't have M. I'm going to use what? So X squared minus 5M minus 14. But I just replaced M with X. I'm going to hit enter. If this is a solution of this quadratic equation, I should get 0.
Yep, I got 0.
Now, so what happens is if on your, I think, Robert, Earl, what do you want me to call you? Which one?
Earl.
Earl. I'm going to use, if I can, I'm going to use your practice because I think you had a problem like that I remember seeing. So let me check. So now let's try the next one. 7. Let's see if 7 works. So 7 store X, enter. Now, what you have to remember is you don't have to write that expression over again. If you practice enough with your calculator, you will understand and be able to do a lot of these problems very quickly. I don't have to type it again. I'm going to go back up. I'm using my up arrow until I get back to my expression. I'm going to hit enter. Now, instead of using -2, it's going to use 7. I'm going to hit enter. Let's see if I get 0. Stop playing. Stop playing. Understand what an equation is. That means both sides are equal. So anything I put as that variable in that quadratic equation must be equal to 0 or must be equal to whatever on the other side of that equation. But standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So let me clear the screen real quick. Let me maximize this so you can see the steps that I've taken. Let me take a screenshot of that. So when you go back, you'll be able to see it. And then let me close the calculator. Okay, so watch this now. Now, I'm going to do a problem. Watch this. I'm going to show you something. Yes, we can do it. -2. Yep. All right. So ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. My a is what?
B squared. Well, B, 1.
1. My b is what?
-4.
-4. My c is what?
4.
4.
4. You must be able to do that quickly. It doesn't matter what it is. You should be able to Notice equation is a quadratic equation because it's raised to the second power. And if you see it, for example, sometimes they'll just write b squared minus 4b plus 4. Well, that's the assumption that's equal to 0. Okay, right there, you should be able to identify A is 1, B is -4, C is 4. Okay, once you're able to do that, oops, didn't mean to do that. Once you're able to do that, again, what is the first thing I told you to make sure you know when you're studying for the GED? Multiplication tables. They are your friend. You should know them 1 to 12. You should be able to do 100 problems in 5 minutes. That's the foundation of your math. Multiplication. Why? Because opposite of multiplication is what?
Division.
Division. What is the fractions? Division. What is ratios? Division. What is percents? Division.
Division.
So if you have problems with multiplication tables, which implies you're going to have problems with division, which means you won't have problems with all those other. Know your multiplication tables. Oh, since A is equal to 1, I'm going to factor what number?
-4.
No.
No,
4.
+4. I'm sorry.
+4. You're going to factor C. We're going to factor C. Find the factor pairs of C. So, okay. So now, give me the factor pairs of +4.
-1.
Let's start with 1 first. Let's start with 1.
-1 times 4.
Let's start with 1.
Okay.
1 times what gives you 4? 4. 2 times what gives you 4?
4.
No.
2.
2. I'm
2.
sorry. 2 times 2.
3 doesn't go into 4, and we already have factor 4 already. So those are those are factor pairs. So if you notice, when they're all positive, there are factors. So the factors of 4 are 1, 2, and 4. Okay. A lot of people have problems with factoring, but you have to understand what a factor is: a number that goes evenly into another number. Okay, so 1, 2, and 4. Now we go on the other side. What are we going to do to get the factors on the other side?
-1.
-1 and what?
4.
No.
+4.
No.
-4.
-4. Why? We are reversing the signs.
Yes.
So whatever signs you have on the left side, you are reversing them on the right side. So since they're both positive on the left side, they're going to be both negative on the right side. Everybody understand that?
Yes.
Okay. What's my last factor pair?
-2. -2.
Okay. Now let me change my color again. What factor pair will give you B?
-2. -2.
So those give you the answer. Now, instead of X, I got to use B. So what am I going to write to factor this quadratic equation?
B -2.
B -2.
C.
And what else?
C minus 4.
Why you say C?
I mean,
What
C minus
variable?
2.
What variable are we using?
B and
B.
C,
So-
right?
No, there's no.
Just
Say
Just
A
B.
and A and B.
no.
No?
just B.
Just B. The only variable that we're using this equation is B. B squared minus 4B plus 4. The A, B, and C are just notation to identify the coefficients in front of those. Got me? So B -2, and what's my second one? Also what?
B
Negative
-2.
B -2. So now, that is how you factor it. So you have to understand when they ask you to factor a quadratic equation and when they ask you to solve it. So that's why I'm showing you both, because they're going to ask you both. They're going to ask you one question, they're going to ask you to factor it. Another one, they're going to ask you to solve it. So I factored it. Now, how can I solve it? I got to find my zeros. What is the opposite of -2?
Positive 2.
Positive 2. What's the opposite of -2?
2.
Also
2.
+2. So for this quadratic equation, you only have one solution, which is 2. Remember, a quadratic equation can have up to 2 solutions. This one only has 1. Now, what I also seen was people didn't understand that when you multiply the same thing by itself, that's called a square. So 5 times 5 is 5 squared. Does everybody understand that?
Mhm.
So b minus 2 times b minus 2 is b minus 2 squared. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Okay, so I had one person who made that mistake, did all the work right, but then the answer was something squared. They didn't know they were the same thing. Okay, remember, squares when you multiply a term by itself. Everybody understand that? Okay, let's try one more, and then we're going to use the quadratic formula.
Now, Mr. Tims, I got a question.
Yes.
I couldn't use the calculator for that to do the minus b plus.
I'm about to show. Yes, you can.
I could use that for the last 2 that we did.
You can use it for every quadratic equation as long as you know how to identify A, B, and C.
Okay.
So, for example, let's make sure we got it right. So, for example, and you can say it out loud. What is in this quadratic? Is this a quadratic equation? First of all, is this a quadratic equation?
Yes.
Yes.
Why?
Because of the
Because
square, the 2 degree.
Because it's raised to the second power. So, what's A?
A is 2.
Everybody understand that?
Yes.
Because A x squared plus bx plus c equals 0. B is what?
2.
2.
2. C is what?
Negative 12.
Negative 12.
You should be able to do that in seconds. So the first thing you're going to do is this a quadratic equation? Let's raise to the second power. Yes. What's my A, B, and C? Bang. Okay, now I want to show something. I want to show you something. This question here, A is not equal to 1. What I told you to do was when A is equal to 1. Okay, so in this problem, this is what you would do. You look at A, let me change the red. You look at A, and we said A was 2, we said B was 2, and C is negative 12. That's how fast you should be able to identify A, B, and C for a quadratic equation. Now, once you see A is not equal to 1, the first thing you're going to do is see if you can factor out A out of each one. So does 2 go into 2? How many times?
1.
1. So we got m squared plus m. And how many times does 2 go into 12?
6.
6 times. But it's negative. See that negative? So negative 6. So when we pull a 2 out, we get m squared plus m minus 6. Well, again, you can practice all your concepts and your skills. Okay, well, let me check it. Let me make sure I'm right by using distributive property. 2 times m squared is what?
2m squared.
2m squared. 2 times m is what?
2m.
2m. And then 2 times minus 6 is what?
Negative 12.
So look what I just did. I just checked to make sure I factored out or I pulled out a 2. Now what you should be able to see is, okay, now I have a quadratic equation where A is 1. Now I need to factor negative 6. So I'm going to go 1, 6, 2, 3. I'm done on the left side. Why? Because you should know your multiplication tables. 1 times 6 is 6, 2 times 3 is 6, 3 times 2. Hold on, 3 times 2 is 6. Why didn't I put that down? Because I already used the factor 3. Now I'll go on the other side, minus 1 minus 6, minus 2 minus 3. If you practice this for about 5 to 10 questions, you will know it. So I factored out. I found the factor pairs of negative 6. Now I gotta find the factor pair that's going to give me what? B is equal to what? Here.
2.
Nope. B is equal to, remember, this is the new quadratic equation that we're working on.
1.
1. So B is 1. Oops. See, nobody see I made mistakes. Nobody caught my mistake. Nobody caught my mistake. Boop, boop. We got a factor -6, correct? That
Yes.
means it should be 1 times what?
Times 6.
Times
-6.
2 times,
-3.
right?
Yep.
So we want to find B is 1. Which pair will give us 1?
-2 times 3. +3.
So you can't forget this 2. This 2 is still here. But x minus 2, oops, I mean x, m. Because in class, you always use x, but you can use any variable. They use an m here. M minus 2,
2m.
m what?
2 squared. M2 squared.
Nope, m what?
M plus 1.
Where are you getting these numbers from?
I'm looking at the B.
Okay, so what factor pairs
Oh, I'm sorry.
gave us
-2
B? Negative 2 and what?
and 3.
And 3. So this is my first one. What's going to be my second one?
3.
What kind of 3?
+3. Plus
Positive 3. That's how you factor a quadratic equation. M minus 2 times m minus 2 times m plus 3. So what would be my solutions? What would solve this quadratic equation?
M equals M -2.
No,
2, I'm sorry.
2. And what else?
3.
Nope.
-3.
Negative 3. Remember, you have to find the zeros, the opposite.
Oh, right.
Okay. Now, that's so you got to make sure that you go online and you practice these. Why? Because let me show you something. You might get a problem like that.
Miss Tinsley, Mr. Tinsley,
Yes.
what if they don't give us a B and it's still a quadratic equation?
Okay. Oh, listen, I love the question. I love it. Those are the easiest ones. X squared equal 9. X squared minus 9 equals 0. Are these quadratic equations?
Yes.
Yes. Why?
Because of the power.
Because of the second power. So this is why I told you, I'm glad you asked that question, because especially on the GED. College is a little different, but for the GED, know all your squares. Know all of them. 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9. So what you recognize right here, see, this is not in standard form. Because remember, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So in order to make this standard form, I got to subtract 9 from both sides. So now I get x squared minus 9 equals 0. Now it's in standard form. So you ask yourself, hold on. Why wouldn't I have a middle term? That means the middle term has been canceled out. How do we do that? Well, we know what is the square root of 9?
3.
3. Watch this.
3.
Since I know the square root of 9, watch this. X plus 3, x minus 3. Hold on, Mr. Tinsley. Are you sure about that? Watch this. What's x times x?
X squared.
X squared. What's x times minus 3?
X.
Negative 3x. I keep hearing people, listen, you gotta be right with your signs. Okay, I'm telling you, either you're gonna either fall hard. Most people fail because they don't finish, number 1, linear equations, number 2, sign numbers, number 3. Okay, so x squared minus 3x. Then I go to my next term. So remember, I'm multiplying this term by everything in this parentheses. This is multiplying binomials. You must know it like the back of your hand.
Right.
So now 3 times x is what?
3x.
3x. And then 3 times minus 3 is what?
-9.
Negative 9. What happens to the 2 terms in the middle? 3x minus 3x.
They get subtracted.
They cancel out.
They cancel out. So I'm left with
X
x squared
negative
minus
9.
9. So to answer your question, Kelly, if you see a quadratic equation with no middle term, the first thing you're looking at is the other number a perfect square. If it is, you're going to do the difference of squares. Okay, so hold on, Mr. Tinney. That was a whole lot to chew. This is what I mean by that. Watch this. Another square is hold on. Another square is 81. I don't know. T squared minus 81 equals 0, right? When I see that it's a quadratic equation, when I see I have a perfect square, this becomes real easy. So what's the square root of 16?
4.
4. X plus 4, x minus 4. Boom. Okay, I look at the second one. What's the square root of 64?
4.
X plus
8.
8. M minus 8, M plus 8. If you should recognize a pattern. You should recognize when you see that perfect square in that quadratic equation, it's easy money. You should laugh all the way to the bank. You should be happy. What's the square root of 81? 9. So when I factor this, what am I going to write?
M minus 9, M plus 9.
No.
Oh.
What
T
variable?
minus 9, T plus
Oh.
9.
T minus 9, T plus 9. That's how easy it is. And this is why certain things you must know. You must know your multiplication. You must know your squares and your square roots. Because even though one of the first 5 is square roots, cube roots, you got to use your squares and square roots for your quadratic equations. You got to use them for your Pythagorean theorem. You must know your squares and your square roots. It'll make your job a whole lot easier. Now, watch this. I want to show you something. Okay, this problem here. I'm going to show you how to do it by factoring, but I'm also going to show you how to do it if you had multiple choice. So let me do it real quick in my head. Hold on. Let's say, so that's X. Let's see. Hold on. Let me do it real quick. Hold on.
2x.
Oops. Well, let me let in. So we got minus 2. Okay, so watch this. All right, so I'm gonna go 2x minus 1 plus minus 1x minus 5. So we got 2x plus 1 x minus 5. Let's do 2x plus 5.
You can't do it.
Huh?
How can you do it? Because you don't have anything that will come equal to -5.
Okay, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
And then 2x minus 5, x plus 1. Okay, so now this is your A, this is your B, this is your C, this is your D. So if you get, this is the first thing I want you to do. I need everybody to pay attention right now, because you're going to see a problem like this. Okay, where they tell you to factor a quadratic equation where A is not equal to 1. So, but they give you the multiple choice. So the easiest way to do it is to multiply the answers. Multiply the binomials. You don't have to do all that factoring. I'm gonna show you how to factor, but I'm gonna show how long it takes you to do that. And you're gonna say, oh, I think I need to maybe multiply binomials. Watch this. What is 2x times x?
2x
Square.
Where?
Okay, but before you even start that, this is what I want to ask you. What is -1 times -5?
-4.
Negative,
Four.
negative
Okay.
6.
Let me say it again. What is -1 times -5?
-5.
5.
Positive 5. Positive 5.
5.
+5. So -1 times -5 is 5. Now, you should already hear, just by this session alone, some people got some problems with sign numbers. So you need to make, next couple days, next couple hours, grab that calculator, practice your sign numbers. Practice putting them into your calculator. Listen, sign numbers should not be the reason why you failed the GED. Not if you got this calculator, it shouldn't be. Because you can type that in your calculator. -1 times -5. So we get +5. Well, what do we need in a quadratic equation at the end? We need what?
Pairs.
-5. So we already know it can't be A. Does everybody understand that?
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Now, +1 -5, that's -5. +5 times -1 is -5. And -5 times +1 is -5. But what we were able to do is at least to get rid of 1. We don't have to do any work. We can just look at those last two numbers, multiply them together, and that should be my last term in my quadratic equation. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
All right, let's look at the second one. What's 2x times x?
2x squared.
2x squared. Does everybody understand why 2x times x is 2x squared?
Yeah.
Who does not? Okay, perfect. 2x times -5.
-5.
Negative
It's 10.
-10 what?
X.
X.
-10x. Again, you must know your multiplication numbers, multiplication tables, you must know your sign numbers. 2 times -5 is -10. Bring the x along with you because there's no other x in that second term. Now we multiply 2x by everything in the right parentheses. Now we're gonna multiply 1 times everything. What is 1 times x?
1.
X squared.
1x squared.
What is 1 times x?
It's
X
1.
squared.
1 what?
1x.
1x. Okay, plus 1x. Do we need the 1 in front of an x?
No.
No, you will never see a 1 in front of a variable, ever. So get in the habit, if you do get 1, you don't put it. So plus x. Now, next step. 1 times -5.
-5.
-5. Now, our next step is to combine like terms. What are the two terms that we can combine?
10x plus
1.
x.
So we bring down our 2x squared. And what is -10 plus 1?
9x. -9x.
-9x minus 5. Is that what we want?
No.
No,
Yeah.
it's not B. It's not B. So but where you should have stopped, now I did the whole problem out, but what you should have did, you should have seen -10 and 1 cannot make -3. I'm done. I don't even have to multiply the last terms because I already know -10 and plus 1 is nowhere that can make -3. Same thing here. Now, you should be able to do these fairly quickly. If you can't, you need to practice enough. So I'm gonna send you a sheet along with your video so you can practice. 2x times x. You should be able to go 2x times x, 2x squared. 2x times -1 minus 2x. 5 times x is plus 5x. Plus 5 and -1 is -5. Combine my like terms. 2x squared plus 3x minus 5. Is that what we want?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we want?
No. Negative.
We want negative, so it's not C. Well, sir, we already know it's D because we already eliminated the first 3. I already knew it was D. I purposely made D the last one, but let's check it. Let's check it. Let me erase everything else and let's check it. And this is what I need you to be able to do. It's now, because I'm going to show you how to solve this algebraically. It would literally take you forever. But if you know how to multiply binomials, this problem is a 1 minute to 1.5 minute problem. Watch this. Boom. Change to red. 2x times x. Oops. 2x times x is what?
2x squared.
2x squared. 2x times plus 1 is what?
2x.
2x. Minus 5 times x is what?
Minus 5.
5x.
Minus 5x. And then minus 5 times 1 is, of course, negative 5. You should notice right away we have like terms. So I'm going to bring down my 2x squared. I'm going to bring down my minus 5. What is minus 5x plus 2x?
Negative 3.
Negative 3,
3x.
3x. Is that what we wanted?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that's our final answer without solving it. Now, listen, you're going to have probably two quadratic forms, one where you have to factor, one where you have to solve. Okay, so now, how would you do this manually? Now, I'm going to show you the difference. So I'm trying to give you a way when you recognize that quadratic formula, when you recognize they gave you the answers in the multiple choice, it's going to be much easier to multiply the binomials in your multiple choice, and you'll be done much quicker. Because I'm going to show you how long this problem, this is considered a difficult problem. This is considered a 4 to 5 minute problem. Let me show you why. And and again, I'm going to show you how to factor manually, and I already showed you how to do it using the multiple choice. So first of all, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. My a is what? 2. My b is what?
Negative 3.
My c is what?
Negative 5.
Negative 5. If your a is not equal to 1, you factor a times c. Well, what's a times c?
10.
No.
Negative 10.
Negative 10. Let me change my color. Negative 10. So somebody tell me the factor pairs of negative 10. We're going to start with 1. 1 times what will give you negative 10?
Negative 10.
What's the next number that goes into 10?
10 and 1.
5.
2 and 5.
2 and what kind of 5?
Negative 5.
Negative 5.
Negative 5. Does 3 go into 10?
Nope.
Does 4 go into 10?
Nope.
Now, 5 goes into 10, but we already have 5, correct?
Right. 5 positive and 2.
Right. So our factors of 10 are 1, 2, 5, and 10. Now let's go to the other side and find a factor pairs that's going to give us negative 10. So we're going to do what?
Negative 1.
We're going to change the
Plus
sign.
10.
So negative 1 and plus 10.
Negative 2 plus 5.
Now, I'm going to show you why this is so much harder. And I'm telling you, if they give you a is not equal to 1, you're either going to multiply the binomials of the answers they give you, or you're going to use your calculator and use for the quadratic formula. I'm telling you, otherwise it's going to take you forever. But I'm going to show you how to use the quadratic formula. I'm going to show you how long it takes. So now, what 2?
Negative 2 and negative 5. 2, negative 5.
2 and negative 5. What pair is going to give you negative 3? And you're right, 2 and negative 5. But guess what? Because a is not equal to 1, we're just not going to write x plus 2, x minus 5. This is the difference. And this is why this problem becomes so much more difficult. Watch this. So in this 2 and 5, you're now going to use those two numbers to replace your coefficient b. So you're going to rewrite it, and you're going to write, let me change this color to, I guess I can use black. So 2x squared plus 2x minus 5x minus 5. So I took this term minus 3x and I broke it down and broke it up to 2 terms. Does everybody understand that?
Yeah.
Listen, this is why this is a difficult problem. And I'm telling you right now, you're anybody ever say I'm going to get you, sucker?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You see where his big toe was like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Well, when you're doing these type of problems, that's what your brain does. It goes, boom,
Absolutely.
right? Because
Wow.
it's so difficult. So what I'm trying to do is give you an easy way to identify, is it a quadratic equation? Is my A equal to 1? And do they give me the factored versions in the multiple choice? Because if they do, start multiplying. It's the easiest way to do it, because this is going to take you a while. Now, how do you know to put the 2x first and the minus 5x? You don't know. You got to know your factors. So I know 2 and 2 share a factor. So what can I pull out? So I'm going to show you. I can pull out a 2. I can factor out a 2. And I can factor out an x. Because when I look at these two variables, I take my lowest exponent. So remember, this is to the first power. So 1 is lower than 2. So I'm going to take my lowest one. So 2x, I'm going to pull out a 2x. So if I pull out a 2x out of 2x squared, I got an x left. Why? Because 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x goes into 2x one time. Then same thing here. I can take out what? A -5. So if I take out a -5, what do I have left? I have x. And then -5 goes in -5 plus 1. This is difficult. This is what I'm telling you. And I'm trying to give you the advantage. When you notice it's a quadratic equation and you know A is not equal to 1, and you see those multiple choices, binomials, they already factored it for you. Start multiplying. Now, then what you have to do is you have to see that it shares a factor of x plus 1. So you're going to take this term here and this term here, and you're going to combine them. 2x minus 5, x plus 1. What? Then, so we're not going to stop there, because you're probably saying, oh my God, Mr. Tinsley, I can't do that. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Most people will spend 5 to 6 minutes on this problem. Again, let me repeat. If they say factor this quadratic equation and you see A is not equal to 1, you're going to use that multiple choice and you're going to multiply those binomials until you get the quadratic equation you're looking for. Now, watch this. Now, so I factored it, right? So I just want to see what people know. I just want to see if I was asked to solve this quadratic equation, how would I find my zeros now? How would I? Because before, you can do x plus 1. What's the 0 for x plus 1?
-x plus 1.
No.
-x.
Okay, so let's
-1,
rewind.
I'm sorry.
-1. So the first answer is easy, -1. What value of x would give us 0? So 1 minus 1 is 0. So how do we find the 0 for 2x minus 5? Don't worry, I'm going to show you. This is what you're going to do. It's not, so if you put a positive 5 in there, right? What's 2 times 5?
10.
10. And then minus 5.
5.
Did you get 0?
No.
So that didn't work. 5 didn't work. This is what you have to do, but you're on the right path. So we take plus 5, because the opposite of minus 5 is what?
Plus 5.
Plus 5. And then put it over the coefficient of x. So your solutions to this quadratic equation would be -1 and 5/2. Most people spend 6, 7, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes trying to figure out this problem, instead of just using a multiple choice or using your calculator. What do you mean use your calculator, Mr. Tinsley? Let me show you. So we already know our answers, -1 and 5/2. We already have our answers, correct? Now, let me show you something. Okay, -1 and 5/2 is our answer, correct? So I'll put that as the last multiple choice, because I want to show you, I want to teach you, I want to show you how you can have an advantage taking the GED. I mean, just as simple. And not even just GED, multiple choice exams, when they give you the answers, the one thing you know is one of those answers, one of those multiple choice option is your answer. So I'm gonna just reverse some signs here. 1 and -5/2, 1 and +5/2, and -1 and -5/2. So say this was A, this was B, this was C, this is D. So they're telling you now to solve this quadratic equation, and they gave you multiple choice. So if I know the answers are in my multiple choice, what am I going to do to make my job easier so I won't have to do all the work I just did? I don't have to waste 7-8 minutes on this problem. What can I do if I have the multiple choice options to solve this quadratic equation? Can anybody think of a way to solve this?
Plug the answers in.
Stop playing. You are right. Who said that?
Bridget, plug them in.
Bridget. She said plug them in. So let me move these over so I can bring my calculator on the screen. I'm going to save you time on this exam. Believe me. So you're going to grab your calculator. You're going to grab it. Let me clear everything out. And what do you mean I'm going to plug them in, Bridget? What am I going to do?
And you're going to plug your answer in.
So what's my first answer? So if I'm looking at A, what's my first answer I'm going to plug in?
-1.
-1. So how can I store -1? How can I store -1 in my calculator?
Down by the enter sign.
Negative. See, if it starts with a negative, always use the negative next to enter. So -1, and then I'm hit what?
Store.
Store what?
Enter. 1x.
Store what? X. Now, say this was 2m squared minus 3m. It doesn't matter variable. We're gonna use X. So whatever that variable is, it doesn't matter. You can change it and use X. So one advantage you're gonna have on the GED, they're only going to use X or Y or A, B, and C. They're gonna use the same variables usually with your calculator. So -1, store X. We're gonna hit enter. And then we're gonna plug our quadratic equation in. 2x squared minus 3x minus 5. And somebody just wrote on my screen. Who's did that? I'm gonna hit enter. Did I get 0?
Yes.
So what do I know? I know -1 is a solution. So what two multiple choice can I get rid of?
B and C.
B and C. Boom, boom. So I know the answer is A or D right now. So my next choice for A is what? We use -1. What's my next choice?
Got to store the 5 over 2.
No, so look at A. So you keep missing that sign numbers.
Oh, negative. I'm sorry.
You keep missing it. You keep missing it.
That's my downfall.
Since negative. It starts with negative, I'm gonna hit negative. Oops, I hit it 3 times. Didn't mean to hit it 3 times. I'm gonna hit ND. I'm gonna hit 5. Hit my down arrow. Go to my denominator. Hit my 2. I'm gonna hit my right arrow to get out of the fraction. And then I'm gonna store X. Hold on, Mr. Tinsley. You can store fractions as into the calculator. You can store, yes. The answer is yes. You can store whole numbers, negative numbers, fractions, decimals, percents. It doesn't matter. If you know how to store a variable on this calculator, it will get, that's 5 or 6 problems on your exam. Because you're going to need it to evaluate expressions, you're going to need to evaluate functions, and you're going to need it to solve equations where they give you the multiple choice. Now watch this. So I hit enter. I stored X is -5/2. I don't have to write that expression again. I'm going to use my up arrow. I'm going to go back to my expression. I'm going to press enter. And now to execute it with X is -5/2, I'm going to hit enter again. Did I get 0?
No.
So I know my answer A.
No.
I know my answer is what?
D.
D.
That's with no algebra work at all. Listen, when I'm telling you, I will show you how to solve the most difficult problems just like that. You don't have to spend 5, 6, 7 minutes on a problem, but you got to know keys. You got to know cues. So this is why use the Schoology site, use my ebook, practice, practice, practice. So when you get to that test, you'll know what type of a problem, because I got so many word problems and so many examples that when you see them, you go, oh, I know what type of problem that is. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, they gave me the answers in multiple choice. Let me plug them in. Boom, 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 boom. That's what I want you to get in the habit of. Now, again, first, solve it manually. Because I want you, if you have aspirations to go into college, if you have aspirations to go to a technical school, then I want you to know the math, how to do it manually, but then back it up using your calculator so you can speed up your time and your accuracy. So I'm just going to do 5 halves just to prove it to you. It is D. So I'm going to store 5 halves. So I'm going to go to ND, 5 halves, store X, enter, go back up to my expression, enter, enter. Did I get 0? Stop playing. Look how fast that is if you verse with this calculator. Use it every single day for sign numbers, for multiplication, for fractions, for the quadratic. Now, watch this. I'm going to show you something even better. No, that's the best way. They give you the answers, know how to store them, plug them in. That's the best way. If you can know how to do that, that's fine. Now, guess what? Watch this. I'm going to show you how to solve this quadratic equation. You don't have to waste 5 minutes. So my A is 2, right? So let me write this down first. Let me write it down. My A is what?
2.
My B is what?
B is 3.
It was 3? I thought it was negative.
3x.
It was 3. And C was what?
C was -5.
Okay, let me make sure. I forgot that quick. Yeah, I knew B was -3. He threw me off. -3. So watch this. I'm going to show you something. And this is just becomes with practice. And what I'm telling you is that hard problem, that quadratic equation that takes you 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes. Watch this. Watch this. I'm going to show you. You're not going to believe it. I'm going to show you right now. Watch this. 2 store A. -3 store B. -5 store C. Go to your formula sheet. Your formula sheet should tell you minus B plus or minus B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. That's what your formula sheet says. All you have to know is identify it's a quadratic formula. A is not 1, so I couldn't solve it by multiplying my binomials. So you know what? I can identify A, B, and C. And guess what? This quadratic formula, you can put in to your calculator the way you see it. I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna prove it to you. Watch this. I hope you're looking. I'm hoping you're looking. Watch this. I'm gonna hit ND. Minus B. Now, there's no plus minus on this calculator, so I have to do one at a time. So I'm gonna do plus. Square root, second squared, got my square root. B squared, go to my variable button until I see B. Square it, -4 AC. Oops, hit 4 twice. Hit till I get to A. Now, when you have 2 variables next to each other, you have to hit that right arrow, and then I hit my variable button again and hit it continuously until I get to C, all over 2A. Hold on, Mr. Tinsley, we're going on 35 seconds. You telling me that's all I have to do is store A, B, and C and know how to plug this quadratic? Yes, that's what I'm telling you. Watch this. Bam! 5 halves. I'm done. Hold on, Mr. Tinsley. I thought it was 2 answers. You're right, because remember, it said plus and minus. So what you're going to do is you're going to go back into your equation. I went past it. Hit enter, and you're going to change that minus sign to a plus sign. So you just use your arrows until you get to that plus sign. You're going to change that subtraction sign, and you're going to hit enter. 5 halves minus 1, I'm done. I just solved that quadratic equation in less than 1 minute. Mr. Tinsley, no, Mr. Tinsley, that's because you've been doing this. Mr. Tinsley, that's because you know it. That's because you've been showing people how to do this for the last 5 years. So what are you going to do to make sure you can do it when you take your exam?
Practice.
Practice, practice, practice. Because once you get it down, it doesn't matter what the quadratic formula they give you, you will be able to answer it. Okay, so let me show you an example real quick. Okay, oops, let me make this nice and big so we can see it, so we can see everything we did. But yeah. Listen. What you want to do is the GED exam is anywhere between 40 questions and 46 questions. Okay, first 5, you make sure you get those. A lot of adult educators and a lot of groups I've been seeing is don't worry about the first 5. Let me tell you something. Okay, think about real life. When you get 5 things right from the doors, you feel good about yourself. If you get 5 wrong to start something, you're not feeling good about yourself. It's going to shake you. So the first thing I need you to do is go in that ebook and make sure you are ready for those first 5. Second thing I need you to be able to do, you need to be able to solve linear equations with and without the calculator. Now, why are you saying with and without? If in the ebook you're showing me, because I want you to know how to do it so you can understand. If they don't give it exactly the way you see it, you're not flustered. And then understand what an equation is. Understand how to store a variable. If you know how to store a variable with this calculator, you will use that on 5 to 6 problems from the doors. So let's find a problem. Robert, I'm gonna use your practice. I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick. Let me open up Schoology real quick. I said I was gonna show you how to do this by hand. Yeah, I will. A is 2, B is -3, C is -5. Minus B plus or minus B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. B is -3, so minus B, so minus a -3, plus or minus n square root B squared minus 3 squared minus 4 times A is 2 times C is -5. So all I'm doing is substituting it in over 2A, 2 times 2. Does everybody understand? All I did, everywhere A was, I put the value. Everywhere B was, I put that value. Everywhere C was, I put that value. That's all I did. Now,
Yep.
2 negatives make a positive, +3, plus or minus. You should know any negative squared is a positive because -3 times -3 is a +9. So I got 9. You should also know 2 negatives make a positive. So -4 times a -5 is a +20. Plus times 2 is 40. 2 times 2 is 4. So now I'm gonna simplify it. +3 plus or minus 9 plus 40 is 49 over 4. Again, if you know your squares and square roots, you should be able to tell me the square root of 49 is what?
7.
7. So +3 plus or minus 7 over 4. So watch this. This is 2 answers. So the first answer is +3 plus 7 over 4. +3 plus 7 over 4. The next one is +3 minus 7 over 4. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Okay. What's 3 plus 7?
10.
10. 10 over 4. What does 10 over 4 reduce to?
5 over 2.
5 over 2. What's 3 minus 7?
4. -4 over 4.
-4 over 4. And what's -4 over 4?
1.
What kind of 1?
-1.
Did we still get the same answers, whether we multiplied the binomial, no matter if we used the calculator or we did it by hand? But again, some ways are faster than the other. Believe me, if you have to do it this way, it's going to take you, like I did it because I'm used to doing them. But if you're doing it, it's going to take you 3 to 4 minutes. And there's so many points where you can make an error. 2 negatives is a positive. Negative times negative is a positive. It's easier. Identify your A, B, and C. Learn how to plug that formula into your calculator. Telling you. Okay. If they give you the answers, store the answers into your calculator, plug them into your quadratic equation. Okay. That will save you about 8 to 10 minutes on your exam. Just that. Just understanding that will save you 5 to 10 minutes on your exam. So I know I just ran right through 7 o'clock, but let me do one more example because I'm gonna give an example that they love to put. Let me find the Schoology again. Just give me a couple seconds. Oh, I logged out. I'm sorry, I ran over. Just let me just do one more problem. Because out of 5 people that took this quiz this week, I believe all of them got it incorrectly. So let me just find it. Hold on for a second. And the last one I marked, was it Bridges or was it Roberts? I think it was Roberts. Let me see it. I closed them up. I shouldn't have closed them up. Let me try to hurry up. 3. I think it's 3. It was a 2. Okay, just give me, I'm sorry, just give me a few seconds. Just give me a few seconds. Okay, let me see if I can find. Let's see, they were one right there. Let's see if I can find it. Come on, work with me. Let me find it quickly. Let's go, let's go. Okay. Let me. I think when I'm on Zoom, things just it just slows my computer up a great deal. Okay, let me find it. Okay. I got so many questions on here. Let me find it. Let me find it. There we go. Right here. Here it is. Right here. Boom. Here it is. Right here. Now, again, this is one of the examples from my practice GED. Factor 6x squared plus 6x minus 5. Listen, nobody wants to sit there and find the factors of 6 times negative 15, which is 90. You're going to be sitting there doing factors all day. So you have 4 multiple choice. This is what I need you to do. I need you to understand that last term is negative 15. So that means my last 2 terms must give me negative 15. So will my last 2 terms give me negative 15?
No.
Negative 3 times negative 5 will give you what?
Positive 15.
So guess what? You already eliminated 1. Let's go to B. Will B give you negative 15?
No, positive 15.
Just by knowing that small fact, you just increased your probability of getting this right to 50%. So even if you didn't know how to do this question, you got a 50% chance to getting it right. Now, you just multiply binomials. Let's do it. I'm going to start with the last one because I know what the answer is. So 3x. Well, let's just do it in order. I'll do it in order. 3x minus 3 times 2x plus 5. What is 3x times 2x?
6x.
6x squared. Because 3 times 2 is 6. X times x is x squared. Does everybody understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 3x times 5 plus 5.
15.
15 what?
X.
15x. Cannot forget your variable. It doesn't matter. Well, Mr. Tinsley, I knew. No, you cannot forget the variable. Minus 3 times 2x.
Negative 6.
Negative 6. And then minus 3 times,
Negative 15.
See, look at me. I made a mistake myself. And none of these answers are right. But I'm going to show you how do you know that? Because right away, what is 15x minus 6?
Negative 9.
9x.
9x, I'm sorry.
So 6x squared plus 9x minus 15. No, that didn't get me here. So right away, so listen, so all these are wrong, actually. I made a mistake. That must have, I don't know if I was rushing or not, but I'll fix it. But where do you learn the most from? When you make your mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Because instead of having to factor in this problem, you can use your multiple choice to find your correct answer. And that's what I wanted to show you. Let me see if I got another one. Oh, That's the factor. Come on, let me find. I think I got another quadratic in here. Let's see. Here. This doesn't say factor. It says what?
Equation
Make it bigger.
solution set.
Find a solution. So now I could factor it because I factor to solve it. So you should recognize right away. It is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. What's my a?
1,
1. My b is what?
11, x.
My b is what?
11, negative 11, I'm sorry.
Negative 11. C is what?
Negative 12.
Negative 12. We're going to do the factors of 12. That's fairly easy. Because a is 1, we're going to do the factors of 12. What are the factors of negative 12?
Negative 1 and 12.
Negative 1 and 12. I don't know why you always start with the negative. That throws me off. And the reason why I always start with positive. 1 times negative 12. You don't have to. If you want to do negative first, you can. 1 times negative 12, because I can easily see it. 2 times what?
6. Negative 6.
3 times what?
Negative 2.
3
No,
times
6.
what?
6.
4.
4, I'm sorry.
Negative 4. See, gotta know your multiplication tables.
Russian.
Okay, 4. If we already got, so we're done. Left, right side is gonna be what?
Negative 1. Positive 12. Negative 2. Positive 6. Negative 3. Positive 4.
Okay. Now I'm looking for what?
12. 11. Negative 11.
What pair is gonna give me B? What pair is gonna give me negative 11?
Wouldn't it be negative 3 and positive 4?
So you tell me 3 and negative 4 give you negative 11. So
No,
3 minus 4 gives you negative 11.
1 and 12. I'm sorry.
I don't see 1 and
Positive
12.
1 and negative 12.
Positive 1 and negative 12, because 1 minus 12 equal negative 11.
Yes.
That's what we want. So 1 and negative 12. So I'm going to take that negative 1, that positive 1 and negative 12, and I'm just going to put them in with this variable. So it's x. So x plus 1. And then what's my second factor?
X plus 11.
Hold on. My two pairs were plus 1 and minus
negative
12.
12. Negative 12.
Negative 12. So this is how you factor this quadratic equation. X plus 1, x minus 12. But they want to find a solution set. They want to find the two answers that make this, that solve this quadratic equation. So I got to find my zeros. What's my first answer?
Positive 1.
Why'd you say positive 1?
Because you got x plus 1. So 1 is the coefficient, right?
1 is the coefficient. Well, what does that tell me about what am I trying to do?
I got to minus that. Minus 1.
Minus 1. Because
Negative
you want to,
1, yes.
what you're doing is you're finding what value of x
0
would make that 0. So
right.
x, so one way you can think about it, and this is how they teach it in school. X plus 1 equals 0. Subtract 1 from both sides, you get x equal negative 1. What I'm showing you is the easy way. You just take it opposite. The opposite of plus 1 is what?
Negative 1.
Negative 1. The opposite of minus 12 is what?
Positive 12.
Positive 12. So your answer is negative 1 and 12, which is answer B. That's how you would do it manually. That's how you would do it manually. Watch this. Let me clear the screen. Let me save it and clear the screen. Let me grab my calculator. Let me clear everything out. Boom. I don't have to waste my time. I can just look at my answers. 1 store x, enter x squared minus 11x minus 12. Do I get 0? No, I don't. So already I know it's no answer with 1 in it. So I get rid of A. I can get rid of C because 1 was not a solution. Does everybody understand why I was able to get rid of 1 and C?
Yeah, because those positive ones.
Right, because they both got positive one. So now I'm gonna do -1. -1 store X, boom, go back to my expression. Let's see if I get 0. Yes, so I know -1 is the answer. Let's try 12. 12 store X, go back up to my expression, press enter once, and then enter again. I got 0, I got my answer. That took me 20 seconds.
You mean to tell me I'm trying to figure this out on my head. Not gonna use the calculator.
Yes. Yes, that's what I'm, yes. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Take time, especially when you take a practice test and you know what you got right or wrong, especially because of all the practice tests I've seen, most people have problems with linear equations, quadratic equations, and functions. If you look at your practice test and you got linear equations, quadratic equations, functions, you're talking about 7 to 14 problems. And if you got a 143, a 140, a 138 or above, you should be taking your test in 2 to 3 weeks. That means you go over that ebook, know how to do those sections, know how to store a variable, know how to do the quadratic equation in your calculator, know how to find the slope of the equation of a line in your calculator, boom. And you should be ready to go. I mean, I know sometimes it's sitting, this is Tinsy, this, all that, don't make that simple. Yes, just look at you. Listen, the GED Ready and my practice test will give you what you need to study. So all you have to do then is figure out how to do it using the ebook, using the lessons in Schoology, and then practice till you got it. Then move on to the next one. You can just use your GED practice test or the practice test on Schoology as your prescription. Whatever you get wrong, you work on those first. But what I can tell you is this. Again, let me write these things down. Let me write them down. Let me find a blank page. Again, let me find a blank page. Okay. All the GED exams will have certain things in common. First of all, they're going to have the first 5. I already told you what the first 5 is. Under area, you got to know a rectangle. Angle, area, and perimeter. Rectangles always on it. Now, that doesn't mean you might not have area of a parallelogram or a trapezoid or a triangle. So you should know all of them. But rectangle, going to be on the area or perimeter. You're going to have volume. Okay. Now, should you know all your shapes, cylinder, pyramid? Should you know all of them? Yes. But usually, use a rectangular prism, cylinder. And recently, I've heard they've been using sphere. Okay, so be ready. But volume and surface area, make sure you know how to do both. Make sure you know how to identify what's given them. Use your formula sheet and plug them into your calculator. Algebraic expressions. Oh my goodness. Let me tell you something. You better you better know how to go from words to algebraic expressions. That's 2 to 3 problems. You're gonna have to evaluate algebraic expressions or functions. So I'm gonna say functions, evaluate. That's gonna be 2 to 4 questions.
Are these 2 points a question?
I don't know what the formula is for the GD. Couldn't tell you. They don't. Nobody would ever tell me. I asked so many people. It's not a certain amount of points. What I can tell you is they all are worth the same amount. So you would say, well, 40 goes into the 200. Each one is worth 5 points, right? No, it's not that. I don't know how they get their numbers. I don't know. Because why? Because some of the problems are experimental. Some of they actually don't count. They're using it for a future GED. So you don't know that. Okay, so evaluating algebraic expressions and functions, 2 to 4. Linear equations, anywhere from 4 to 8 questions. Maybe even sometimes 10. Quadratic equations, 1 to 2. System of equations, 1 to 2, maybe. Most of the time it's 1. 1 or 2. Inequalities. 2 to 3. Oh, so that's, hold on, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 7, 10, 14, 22, 24. That's 26 problems already. Oh, I forgot ratio and proportions. Ratio and proportions is probably going to be 2 to 3 problems. Ratio and proportions, 2 to 3. And then graphs of how they tables, charts, and graphs will probably be another 2 or 3. But these are the areas. And I didn't count the first 5. So basically, what I just gave you is 30 of the questions. Now, Mr. Tinsley, I hate word problems. So that means you need to practice enough so you're ready for that word problem, so I can identify what type of problem it is. You got to be ready. You're going to see, if you take enough of my practice exams, you will be ready for this real exam. I'm telling you, you will be ready. Oh, let me show you this problem right here. Let me ask you something right here. A couple people got this wrong. This is going to be my last question. How would I factor this? How would I factor this problem? So let me give you the multiple choice. So the A is x plus 8, x plus 1. B is x plus 4, x plus 2. C is x times x plus 8. And D is x times 8x. Interesting. You say
Answer
what
B.
answer? B.
B.
Okay. Anybody else? B. What else? Anybody else? What you should notice, remember, if you've been in my class long enough, you should recognize patterns. So what you should notice is anytime that you have to multiply binomials and you have the coefficient of 1 for your x's, I'm going to show you a nice little trick. What's 8 plus 1?
9.
9. X squared plus 9x. What's 8 times 1?
8.
Stop playing. Don't, Mr. Tinsley, don't tell me it's that easy. Well, let's prove it. Watch. X times x is x squared. X times 1 is x. 8 times x is 8x. 8 times 1 is 8. Combine like terms, 9x. Look at that. So what you should notice about multiplying binomials is a pattern. I add them and then multiply them. X squared plus 6x plus 8. 4 and 2 is 6. 4 times 2 is 8. So it's not A or B. Bang, bang. C is distributive property. What's x times x?
X squared.
What's x times 8?
8x.
I'm done. Is that the answer we're looking for?
Absolutely.
Use your multiple choice to get your answer. You should have seen how many people got this problem incorrect. This may be the easiest problem, the easiest type of problem on your exam. Even if you didn't know how to multiply and use distributive property. And you can get this. Now, you should know x times 8x is 8x squared. Again, right? So I'm gonna wrap this up real quick. Watch this. I'm gonna do these 3 problems in 30 seconds. Watch this. When you notice that the coefficient, oops, I didn't mean, let me use another color. When you notice the coefficient is 1, watch this. Add them, multiply them. X squared minus 5 plus 3 is minus 2. Minus 5 times 3 minus 15. X squared. 9 minus 7 is 2. 9 times minus 7 is minus 63. M squared. Minus 7 and minus 7 is minus 14. Negative 7 times negative 7 is plus 49. Stop playing. the first thing you got to remember is you got to attach what we're doing to a concept that you understand. You can't remember math. You have to know it.
Right.
So once you start doing enough practice problems, you'll see that every type of problem that you'll see has a pattern. And you will know how you can do them quickly. So multiply, now that's only when the coefficient is 1, not when the coefficient is 2 or 3 or some other number, when the coefficient is 1. It's a nice, easy way to multiply binomials. You combine the two terms, combine the two numbers, then you multiply the numbers. And then you can multiply those binomials. I'm sorry, I went way over. I apologize. I went way over tonight. It's 7:30. That's because I missed last week. I was a little excited. Any questions before we leave tonight?
Yeah, can you tell me, you said we're gonna have something called system equations? What is that?
System of equations. So what I'll do is, actually, it's funny that you said it because that's what I plan to go over tonight. Look, I have it open already. Look. So I already had it ready to go. But when I was looking at the practice test before class, I saw so many people had issues with quadratic equations. So that's how we got stuck on that. But what we will do is on Monday, next Monday, we will do system of equations. Now, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on system of equations because you're only going to have 1 or 2.
Okay.
I wouldn't spend a whole lot of time on system of equations. Believe me, you're gonna have 1 or 2. But I'm going to show you how to do them, and then I'll, I can give you a worksheet, and we can use Schoology to practice because you know what I mean. You don't want to chalk anything up for granted. But usually on the GED, they're either going to have system of equations that already cancel each other out, or they let me see if I can see if there was some that already cancel each other out. No, I don't. I'll have a sheet ready next week where I'll show you all the different
Now,
ways.
Mr. Tinsley, like number 5, is it 8y cancel each other out, right?
No. So this is what you do. Let me make it bigger. That they almost cancel each other out. They're opposite. They're the same. So they don't cancel each other out because we know what cancels each other out. Opposites cancel each other out.
Oh,
so
okay.
Here they are the same. So what your plan is to make them cancel each other out. So what you're going to do is you're going to multiply this by a negative. Now I would I probably would do the first one by negative. Right? Watch this. If I multiply the first one by -1, I'm gonna get negative x minus 8y equal positive 15. Anytime you multiply by -1, all you're doing is changing the sign. So positive x becomes negative x, plus 8y becomes negative 8y, negative 15 becomes positive 15. 7x plus 8y equal -9. Now what you should notice, they cancel each other out. 7x minus x is 6x, equal 15 minus 9 is 6. This is a simple one-step algebraic equation. Divide both sides by 6, x equal 1. But remember, you got 2 variables, so you need 2 answers. So you're going to take this one and you're going to plug it into one of these equations. I'll plug into the second one. 7 times 1 plus 8y equal -9. So 7 plus 8y equal -9. I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. And this is why you got to know that 1-step and 2-step algebraic equation so you can move through the algebra quickly. So the 2 7s cancels. We get 8y equal -16. 1-step equation, divide both sides by 8. The 8's cancel, y equal -2. So your answer is an ordered pair, because remember, a point on a graph is an ordered pair. So you must have x comma y. So if they ask you for the point that solves this system of equations, it'd be 1 comma -2. If they ask you what x is, it's 1. If they ask you for y, it's -2. On the GED, sometimes they ask you for what x is, sometimes they ask you to solve for y, sometimes they ask you for the solution, which is x and y as a point. Okay, so again, we'll go into system of equations next week. Let me just show you real quick on a graph. Let me see. I'm gonna do it real quick. And I apologize doing it real quick. Let's do this one here. So what you should do, and this is what you should be able to do quickly. Slope 2. Y-intercept 3. Slope -4 or -4/1. Y-intercept -3. So I need to graph this. I need to graph both lines. So the first one, my y-intercept is 3. And then I got to go up 2 and over 1 for my second point. Okay, I then need to connect those two lines. Now I'm a little off, but this is how, if you're practicing linear equations, you should be ready to be able to take this exam, because they can ask it in so many different ways. Boom, why can't I get it through? Right, there we go. And then my second one is -3. Let me change my color. Change my color to blue. My y-intercept is -3, so my first point when I do my line is -3. Now, -4 and 1. I cannot go down 4. So you should notice, if my slope is -4/1, I can't go 4, I'm off the graph. So -4 could be -4/1, or it could be 4/-1. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Because a positive and negative make a negative. So I'm gonna go up 4 instead of down 4. I'm gonna go up 4 into the left 1. Watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4/1. So I already see where the 2 points, where the 2 lines cross. You should see it. Well, where the 2 lines cross, and this is what most people miss, where the 2 lines cross is the solution of this system of equations. So the solution to this, my x is -1, my y is 1. If they gave you the points, you would just plug them in and make sure they make it equal. But if you give you a graph of a system of equations, how do you solve it? Where the 2 lines meet, the x and y where the point meet. That's why you need an x and a y. That point satisfies both equations. And that was a quick system of equations, but we will go over system of equations next week. But if you have any questions during the week, if you're working on that, send them to me and I'll still help you. Okay, so any other questions?
I need you to go over next week, please. That 10th, I trying to do something and they telling me to change number to 10th and T, something like that. Ones. Yeah, it's very.
Oh, you mean place value?
Yeah.
Okay, real quick. Because you're right, because I saw about 3 people have some issues with that. And that's basics of math. So real quick. Boom, 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 boom. So we got ones, tens, hundreds. Okay, these whole numbers. That's to your left. To the left, we got tenths, hundredths with a TH, and thousands, right? So understand what the place value is. So if I had this number 581.237. So the 8 is in the tens place. Okay, so it's in the tens place. But its value is 8 tens. What's 8 times 10? 80. So its value means you have 5 hundredths, 8 tens, and 1 1. So that's how you get 581. If I want to know how many what place the 2 was in, the place is in the 10th place. But if I want to know the value, is 2 tenths or 1/5. That would be the value. Okay, so the place value is the ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. The value is how much that digit in that place is. So 8 tens is 80. 5 hundreds is 500. 2 in the 10th place is 2 tenths. Got me?
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? And if you're new tonight, make sure you drop your email into the chat so I can send you a link to the video. So if you need to go over this video, because an hour goes fast and most people can't understand the concept in 1 hour. So you may have to go over it several times. You may have to practice several times. I will include the video, the screenshots, and the worksheets that you see. So if you need to practice.
Yes,
So if
and
you're
then
new
you
this
have to
evening,
do it 3
please put your
times.
email in the chat for 810. And if it was your first time, welcome to the group. Everybody have a wonderful evening.
Okay, Mr. Timmy, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Carm.